So hey anime fans. The series name is What If Naruto Got Harem with Victorious. So let's start the series. The spotlight crashes. Not metaphorically. Not in the theatrical sense where a director yells, cut, and everyone resets. The actual metal housing of a stage light, a 40-pound rig of scorching halogen bulbs and steel casing, tears free from its moorings 30 feet above the audience, and plummets toward the seated crowd with the kind of physics that doesn't care about talent shows or teenage dreams. Screams erupt. The sound rips through Hollywood Art's annual fall showcase like a blade, high and sharp and panicked. Students dive sideways. A girl with red curls shoves her friend out of the path. A boy in the front row freezes completely, eyes locked on the falling shadow growing across his face. And in the chaos, one person doesn't move. Not because he's frozen. Not because fear has pinned his feet to the floor. Because Naruto Uzumaki has already calculated the trajectory. The weight. The angle of descent. His brain, wired by 12 years of survival, has done what it always does when something falls from above with killing intent. Move left. Too slow. Move right. People in the way. Intercept? No. Not possible from here. Catch the person instead. His body moves before the thought finishes. 3 strides across the aisle, past frozen students and falling programs. His left hand closes on the collar of the boy in the front row, the frozen one, the one who can't move, who will be dead in less than 2 seconds if someone doesn't, and Naruto yanks. The boy's back hits the floor hard enough to knock wind from his lungs. The stage light crashes exactly where his head would have been. Metal screams against tile. Glass shatters outward in a glittering wave. Halogen bulbs pop like gunfire. The impact shakes the entire auditorium, echoes rolling up to the rafters like thunder. Then silence. Not peaceful silence. The stunned, breathless silence of 60 teenagers who just watched someone nearly die. The silence where brains are still processing what their eyes saw. Naruto stands over the boy he just pulled to safety. His heart is steady. His breathing hasn't changed. Because in the world he comes from, this is Tuesday. But here, everyone is staring. He realizes it slowly. The way their eyes track from the wreckage of the light to his face. The way the boy beneath him is gasping, trembling, tears already forming. The way a teacher is running down the aisle with a walkie-talkie already out, face pale as paper. Everyone stay back! The teacher shouts. Is anyone hurt? Is anyone? The boy on the floor, Naruto doesn't know his name, just a thin kid with glasses and a school blazer, lurches up and grabs Naruto's arm with both hands. His grip is desperate. You! The boy can't get words out. His chest heaves. You pulled me. Naruto blinks. Yeah. Just yeah. Because what else is there to say? The light was falling. The kid wasn't moving. Naruto moved. This is not a complicated sequence of events. But the way people are looking at him, like he's done something extraordinary, something impossible, makes something uncomfortable twist in his chest. He doesn't understand it. Doesn't understand them. These kids who freeze when danger comes. Who scream instead of react. Who sit in a building with lights held up by. He looks up at the ceiling. The rigging where the light was mounted. His eyes narrow. That didn't just fail. He knows what metal fatigue looks like. Knows what shoddy maintenance looks like. This wasn't either of those things. The cable that held the light has a clean edge. Cut. But before he can process what that means, hands are on him. Teachers. 3 of them, suddenly surrounding him, asking questions he doesn't have answers for. Are you okay? How did you move that fast? Do you need to see the nurse? He pulls back from their touch without meaning to. A reflex. Hands reaching for him in a crowd have never meant safety. I'm fine, he says. His voice comes out flatter than he intended. I just saw it falling. I moved. That was insane. Someone whispers behind him. Did you see how fast he was all the way across the aisle, and then he just... How did he even... Naruto's shoulders tense. Too many voices. Too many eyes. Too many people looking at him like he's something to be studied. He needs to leave. He pushes through the crowd without apologizing, heading for the side exit where the red emergency light glows. Someone tries to stop him, a woman in a black blazer, probably an administrator, but he sidesteps her reach without thinking and keeps walking. The door opens. Cool night air hits his face. And then he's outside, in the alley between the auditorium and the main building, and he can finally breathe. His hands are shaking. Not from the near death. He's had closer calls before breakfast more times than he can count. From them. From the way they looked at him. From the questions he can't answer. From the fact that he's been in this world for 3 weeks, and he still doesn't know how to be normal. Naruto slumps against a brick wall and presses the heels of his palms against his eyes until he sees stars. 3 weeks. 3 weeks since the mission went wrong. Since the space-time distortion swallowed him whole. Since he woke up in an alley behind a supermarket in Los Angeles with no chakra reserves to speak of, no way home, and no one in the entire world who had ever heard of Konohagakure. 3 weeks of sleeping in shelters until a social worker found him. 3 weeks of lying about who he was, where he came from, why he had no documents, no family, no past. 3 weeks of being placed in a foster situation that was really just an overworked caseworker checking a box. 3 weeks of pretending. And now this. A spotlight falling. A boy almost dying. And Naruto moving on instinct in front of 60 witnesses who are probably already calling their parents, posting on whatever social media exists in this world, asking who the strange new kid is and how he moved like that. Stupid. Stupid. You were supposed to stay quiet. You were supposed to blend in. He laughs quietly. A bitter sound. Yeah. Blending in. Really working out. The alley door opens behind him. He doesn't turn. Doesn't react. But his body shifts slightly, feet positioning for stability, weight balanced, ready to move if whoever's coming means harm. He's trying not to do that. To not treat every approaching person like a potential threat. But the instinct is older than his memory. Older than this world. Older than anything that's happened in the past 3 weeks. Hey. A girl's voice. Not hostile. Curious, maybe. Concerned. You're the one who pulled Isaiah out of the way. Naruto lowers his hands but doesn't turn around fully. Just enough to see her in his peripheral vision. She's maybe 16. Dark hair, pulled back from her face. Brown eyes that are watching him with an intensity that feels too sharp for someone her age. She's wearing a dress that looks expensive, black tights, boots that have seen actual wear. Not running after a near-death experience, then. She walked out here deliberately. Yeah, he says. I guess. The girl moves to lean against the wall beside him. Not too close. Not crowding. But close enough to talk without raising her voice. Isaiah's okay, by the way. They got him inside. He's still shaking, but he's okay. He wanted to thank you, but you kind of vanished. Good. He's okay. Naruto nods slowly. That's good. A pause. The distant sound of sirens. Someone must have called emergency services. The girl studies him. He can feel her eyes moving over his face, his posture, the way he's standing with his back to the wall instead of facing the open alley. You're the new kid, she says. Not a question. Naruto, right? You started a few weeks ago. Transfer student, no records, mysterious circumstances. You're basically half the rumors in school right now. Great. Not great. Terrifying, probably. She says it matter-of-factly. No judgment. Just observation. I'm Tori. Tori Vega. Naruto finally turns to look at her properly. She's not scared of him. That's different. Most people look at him now and see something they can't categorize, and that makes them nervous. But this girl, Tori, is just standing there like they're having a normal conversation in a normal hallway. He doesn't know what to do with that. You're not freaked out? He asks. About what? About. He gestures vaguely toward the auditorium. That. Me. Whatever. Tori considers the question. I mean, I'm freaked out that a stage light almost killed my classmate. I'm freaked out that the rigging apparently just failed. I'm not freaked out that someone reacted fast enough to stop it from being worse. She shrugs. Should I be? Yes, Naruto's instincts scream. You should be very freaked out. Because I'm not from here. I'm not like you. I'm a weapon wearing civilian clothes and I don't know how to stop being one. But he doesn't say that. I just moved, he says instead. Anyone could have. Tori's eyebrow goes up. It's a small movement, but it speaks volumes. She doesn't believe him. Not for a second. Isaiah was 6 rows ahead of you. You crossed half the auditorium in maybe 2 seconds. People don't just do that. Naruto's jaw tightens. I'm not trying to interrogate you. Tori's voice softens. You looked like you needed some air. And I know what it's like to be the new person that everyone's staring at. It sucks. Something in Naruto's chest shifts. Not much. Just enough to notice. You were new here? Last year. Transferred in halfway through the semester. Everyone already had their friend groups, their projects, their reputations. I spent the first month feeling like I was wearing someone else's clothes. A small smile crosses her face. It got better. But that first month? I hid in bathrooms. A lot. Naruto almost laughs. He's been hiding in bathrooms too. And empty classrooms. And the far corner of the library where no one ever goes. Anywhere he can be alone, where he doesn't have to pretend to understand a world that makes no sense to him. It's different, he says quietly. For me. Tori doesn't push. Just nods, like she understands even though she couldn't possibly. The sirens get closer. Red and blue lights flicker against the buildings at the end of the alley. I should go back in, Tori says. They're probably going to want statements from everyone who saw what happened. And you. She looks at him. You should probably be there too. Not because you did anything wrong. Because you did something right, and people are going to want to say thank you. Naruto shakes his head. I don't need. I know. That's kind of the point. Tori pushes off the wall and starts toward the door. She pauses with her hand on the handle. Naruto? Yeah? Whatever you're running from? Or hiding from? Or whatever it is that makes you look at a falling light like it's just another Tuesday. She meets his eyes. You don't have to tell me. But if you ever need someone who won't ask questions you don't want to answer. She leaves the sentence unfinished. Maybe because she doesn't know how to finish it. Maybe because she's leaving the door open for him to decide what comes next. Then she's gone, back into the noise and chaos of the auditorium, and Naruto is alone in the alley again. He stays there for a long time. Long enough for the sirens to fade. Long enough for the crowd to disperse. Long enough for the night to go quiet. And when he finally pushes off the wall and walks back toward the foster home he doesn't call home, he finds himself thinking about brown eyes that didn't look away. A voice that didn't demand answers. An offer with no strings attached. He doesn't trust it. He doesn't trust anything in this world. But for the first time in 3 weeks, something other than fear and confusion is sitting in his chest. Something that might be hope. The foster home is a 2-bedroom apartment in North Hollywood that smells like cigarette smoke and air freshener trying too hard to cover it up. Naruto's room is technically a converted storage closet off the kitchen, just big enough for a twin mattress and a milk crate of donated clothes. He doesn't mind the small space. In Konoha, he lived alone in an apartment that wasn't much bigger. What he minds is the lack of privacy. The way his foster mother, a woman named Carol who took him in because the state pays her to, leaves the door open when she passes by. The way she stares at him like he's a ticking clock she's waiting to explode. He closes the door anyway. It doesn't lock. Nothing in this place locks. Naruto sits on the mattress and closes his eyes, reaching inward to where his chakra should be. It's there. Barely. When he first arrived in this world, his reserves had been drained to almost nothing. The space-time distortion had torn through him like a blade through water, scattering everything he was across dimensions. For the first week, he couldn't even feel the chakra network that had been as familiar to him as his own heartbeat. Now, 3 weeks later, it's slowly returning. Like water seeping back into a dried riverbed. But it's slow. Too slow. And it behaves differently here, thicker, harder to shape, like trying to breathe through cotton. He's learned not to push it. The one time he tried to form even the smallest Rasengan, the chakra had destabilized so violently that he'd blown out every window in a 50-foot radius. The official explanation was a gas leak. No one questioned it. No one in this world has any concept of chakra, of what he can do, of what he is. That has to stay that way. He lies back on the mattress and stares at the ceiling, tracing the water stain in the corner with his eyes. His mind replays the night. The spotlight falling. The frozen boy. The clean edge on the cable. That wasn't an accident. He doesn't know why he's so sure. But 3 weeks in this world hasn't dulled instincts that kept him alive through a war. Someone cut that cable. Someone wanted that light to fall. On who? The boy he saved, Isaiah, had been in the front row. The light would have hit him square. But was he the target? Or was it random? A test? A message? Naruto closes his eyes and forces himself to breathe. Not your problem. Not your world. Not your fight. He repeats it like a mantra until his heartbeat slows. He can't get involved. Can't draw attention. Can't let anyone see what he really is. He just needs to survive here until he figures out how to get home. That's all. Survive. Stay hidden. Don't make waves. He thinks of Tori Vega. The way she looked at him without fear. The offer she left hanging in the air. You don't have to tell me. He doesn't know why someone would say that to a stranger. Doesn't know why she would care. In his experience, people who offer help without asking for something in return are either lying or have an angle he hasn't figured out yet. But she'd seemed genuine. Like she actually meant it. Naruto pushes the thought away and rolls onto his side, facing the wall. He needs to sleep. Tomorrow is another day of pretending. Another day of sitting in classrooms where teachers speak a language he understands but a culture he doesn't. Another day of watching teenagers worry about auditions and relationships, and whether their hair looks right while he tries to remember that none of it matters because he's not staying. He's not staying. He repeats that too. Over and over. Like maybe if he says it enough times, he'll start believing it. The next morning, Naruto walks to school because Carol's car is in the shop. Again, which means she sold it for cash and hasn't admitted it yet. The walk takes 40 minutes. He doesn't mind. The streets of Los Angeles are nothing like the forests around Konoha, but there's something to be said for moving through the city before the rest of it wakes up. The quiet. The way the light hits the buildings. The feeling of being alone without being isolated. He's early. Most students won't arrive for another half hour. But he's learned that being early means he can find a seat in the back of his first class before anyone else gets there, can settle into the shadows where no one looks twice. He's turning the corner onto the block where Hollywood Arts sits when he sees her. Tori Vega is standing by the front gates, holding 2 cups of coffee. She's looking down the street like she's waiting for someone. When she spots him, her face lights up in a way that makes Naruto's steps falter. No one lights up when they see me. No one. Not here. Not anywhere. Hey! She walks toward him, extending one of the cups. I wasn't sure if you'd come this way. I figured you might take the bus, but then I thought maybe you walk because of the hole. She stops herself. Sorry. I'm not making sense. Coffee? Naruto stares at the cup like it might explode. I don't. He trails off. Doesn't know what he doesn't. Doesn't know why she's here. Doesn't know why she's doing this. Tori's expression softens. It's just coffee. I was getting some for myself and I figured, after last night, maybe you didn't sleep great. I know I didn't. She shrugs, but there's something careful in the movement. Something that says she's aware he might bolt at any second. No strings. Just coffee. Slowly, watching her face for any sign of deception, Naruto takes the cup. It's warm through the cardboard. Almost hot. The smell of coffee fills the space between them, rich and sharp. Thanks, he says. The word feels strange in his mouth. He can't remember the last time he said it to someone and meant it. Tori nods and falls into step beside him as he heads toward the building. She doesn't try to fill the silence. Just walks with him, sipping her own coffee, letting him set the pace. It's the most normal he's felt since he arrived. They reach the doors. Naruto hesitates. Inside is the noise. The people. The performance of being a normal teenager that he's still failing at. Tori seems to sense his pause. We don't have to go in yet. My first class doesn't start for 20 minutes. There's a courtyard around the side. Pretty quiet this early. Naruto looks at her. Really looks. Sees the dark circles under her eyes that say she wasn't lying about not sleeping. Sees the way she's holding her coffee with both hands, like she needs the warmth. Sees something in her expression that he recognizes. Loneliness. The particular loneliness of someone who's learned to smile through it. She gets it. Maybe not all of it. But some of it. Okay, he says. The courtyard. They walk around the side of the building, past the theater entrance where caution tape still marks the area around the fallen light, and into a small courtyard that Naruto didn't know existed. There's a fountain in the center, dry, probably hasn't worked in years, and some benches. A few trees that drop leaves no one cleans up. It's not beautiful, but it's quiet. Hidden. They sit on a bench facing the fountain. The morning sun is just starting to clear the buildings, painting everything in gold and long shadows. Tori sets her coffee down beside her and pulls her knees up to her chest. I used to come here a lot. When I first transferred. It's a good place to hide. You still hide? She laughs softly. Sometimes. Less than I used to. But yeah. Sometimes. She looks at him. What about you? Where do you hide? Naruto considers lying. Considers deflecting. But something about this moment, the quiet, the early light, the girl who brought him coffee without being asked, makes the lie feel heavier than the truth. Bathrooms, he admits. Empty classrooms. The library. Anywhere there aren't people. Tori nods slowly. I figured. You're always gone before anyone can talk to you. Sit in the back. Never raise your hand. Don't eat in the cafeteria. You've been watching me? The question comes out sharper than he intended. But Tori doesn't flinch. I notice things. She shrugs. It's what I do. When you're the new person, you learn to look for other people who are also trying to figure out where they fit. Makes you feel less alone. Naruto doesn't know what to say to that. Because she's right. He has been trying to figure out where he fits. But the truth is, he doesn't fit. Can't fit. Because he's not supposed to be here at all. I'm not staying, he says. The words come out before he can stop them. I can't. I don't belong here. Tori doesn't react with surprise. Doesn't ask what he means. Just sits with the statement for a moment, letting it settle. Where do you belong? The question is simple. It shouldn't hit as hard as it does. Konoha, his mind answers immediately. With Iruka-sensei. With Sakura and Sasuke. With the village that finally accepted me. With the people who need me. But he can't say that. Can't explain a world that doesn't exist here. Can't admit that he's not just a transfer student with a mysterious past. He's a displaced soldier from a dimension that probably doesn't even touch this one. I don't know, he says instead. And that's true enough. He doesn't know how to get home. Doesn't know if he can get home. Doesn't know what happens if he can't. Tori picks up her coffee again. Takes a sip. I get that. You can't. She looks at him. And for a moment, something flickers in her eyes. Something that says she understands more than he's given her credit for. You're right. I don't know what you're going through. I don't know where you came from or why you're here or what makes you look at a falling light like it's nothing. She sets her cup down. But I know what it feels like to not know where you're supposed to be. To show up somewhere and realize everyone else has a script and you don't. To feel like you're failing at being normal. Naruto's chest tightens. So maybe I don't get it. Tori continues. But I can listen. If you want. Or I can sit here and not talk. Or I can leave you alone. Whatever you need. Why? The word burst out of him. Louder than he intended. Why do you care? You don't know me. You don't know me anything. So why are you? He stops. Forces himself to breathe. Why? Tori is quiet for a long moment. When she speaks, her voice is softer than he's heard it. Because no one did that for me. When I was the new person. When I was hiding in bathrooms and eating lunch alone and pretending I didn't care that no one was sitting next to me. She meets his eyes. No one brought me coffee. No one asked if I was okay. No one said you don't have to tell me. And I remember how much that sucked. So maybe that's selfish. Maybe I'm doing this because I wish someone had done it for me. But I don't think that makes it less real. Naruto stares at her. At this girl who walked into an alley last night without fear. Who brought him coffee this morning without being asked. Who just laid out her own loneliness like it was nothing, like it was just another fact about the world. He doesn't understand her. Doesn't understand this world where people offer kindness without expecting payment. Where a falling light is a tragedy, not Tuesday. But for the first time since he arrived, he doesn't feel completely alone. I don't know if I can. He trails off. Doesn't know how to finish the sentence. Doesn't know what he's trying to say. Tori nods. You don't have to. Not yet. Not ever if you don't want to. She stands up, gathering her bag. But if you decide you want to try, I'm here. That's all I'm saying. She starts toward the main building. Then pauses. Looks back at him. Hey. The coffee's probably getting cold. You should drink it before first period. It's not great, but it's caffeine. And then she's gone, walking through the doors into the noise and the lights and the performance of Hollywood arts. Naruto sits on the bench for a long time, holding the coffee cup. It is getting cold. He should drink it. He should go inside. He should go to class and pretend to be normal and not think about the girl who saw through his walls without even trying. He lifts the cup to his lips. The coffee is bitter. Cheap. Probably from the vending machine down the street. It's the best thing he's tasted in 3 weeks. First period is drama fundamentals with Mr. Dixon, a man who wears the same tweed jacket every day and talks about emotional authenticity, like it's a magic trick you can learn if you practice enough. Naruto sits in the back, as always, and tries to look like he's paying attention while his mind replays the morning over and over. I don't belong here. I'm not staying. But Tori's words keep intruding. I know what it feels like to not know where you're supposed to be. He doesn't want to think about her. Doesn't want to think about the way she looked at him without fear, without suspicion, without the judgment he's come to expect from people in this world. It's easier to be invisible. Easier to pretend he doesn't need anyone. Easier to focus on the goal, find a way home, survive until then, leave before anyone gets close enough to matter. But she already got close. In one morning, with coffee and a bench and words that cut through every wall he built. The classroom door opens halfway through the period. A girl walks in, late, apparently, because Mr. Dixon stops his lecture and turns to look at her. Naruto's attention sharpens immediately. She's pale. Dark hair, cut sharp against her jaw. Black clothes. Heavy boots. Her face is a mask of irritation, like being late is an inconvenience she's inflicting on the world rather than the other way around. But that's not what makes Naruto's instincts fire. It's the way she moves. Most people in this world move without purpose. Arms swinging. Heads turning. Posture loose and open. They don't think about where their weight is, don't calculate angles, don't track sidelines. This girl moves like someone who expects to be attacked. Her steps are measured. Her eyes sweep the room before she enters fully, a habit so ingrained she probably doesn't notice she's doing it. She takes the seat farthest from the door, with her back to the wall, facing the entrance. Exactly where a shinobi would sit. Naruto's heart rate increases. Just slightly. "Nice of you to join us, Miss West," Mr. Dixon says dryly. The girl, West, doesn't apologize. Just pulls out a notebook and starts writing, like nothing happened. Naruto watches her for the rest of the period. Watches the way she holds her pen like a weapon. Watches the way her eyes track movement in the room. Watches the way she reacts to sudden noises, a book dropped, a chair scraping, with micro flinches so small most people wouldn't notice them. Who are you? Because that's not normal. Not even for this world of performers and artists. That's the body language of someone who's learned to survive. When the bell rings, Naruto is out of his seat before most people have finished packing their bags. He needs to be alone. Needs to process. Needs to figure out if he's seeing threats where there are none, or if his instincts are trying to tell him something real. He's halfway to the library when a voice stops him. "You're the new kid." He turns. Jade West is leaning against the lockers, arms crossed, watching him with the same intensity he was watching her. "People keep calling me that," Naruto says carefully. "What's your name?" "Naruto." She studies him for a long moment. He lets her. He's learned that people like this, people who move like they expect threats, don't respond well to defensiveness. "You moved fast last night," she says. "I saw you." "Okay. That's all you have to say?" Naruto shrugs. "I moved. Someone didn't get hurt. That's the whole story." Jade's lips curl into something that might be a smile, or might be a snarl. "No. That's not the whole story. And I'm going to figure out what the rest of it is." She pushes off the lockers and walks past him. Close enough that he can feel the air move. Close enough that he can see the tension in her shoulders, the readiness in her hands. At the end of the hallway, she pauses. "Watch yourself," she says without turning around. "Things aren't always what they seem at this school. And you," she glances back, "you're not what you seem either." Then she's gone, disappearing around the corner, leaving Naruto standing in an empty hallway with his heart pounding and his hands already half formed into seals he shouldn't be making. He forces his fingers to uncurl. Forces his breathing to slow. She's just a girl. A strange girl, maybe, but just a girl. Not an enemy. Not a threat. Just someone who noticed something she shouldn't have. But his instincts won't quiet. Because Jade West moves like someone who's been trained. And in a world without shinobi, there's only one reason someone would move like that. They've learned to survive too. He doesn't know what that means. Doesn't know what she wants. Doesn't know why she's watching him. But for the first time since he arrived in this world, Naruto realizes he might not be the only one hiding something. The rest of the day passes in a blur. Classes. Hallways. People looking at him. Whispering. Pointing. The story of last night has spread through the school like fire through dry grass. "The new kid who saved Isaiah. Did you see how fast he moved? What's his deal?" He ignores it all. Sits in the back. Doesn't raise his hand. Leaves the moment the bell rings. By the time the final period ends, Naruto is exhausted in a way that has nothing to do with physical exertion. The constant vigilance. The constant performance. The constant effort of being less than he is, smaller than he is, invisible when every instinct screams at him to be ready. He's heading for the front gate when he passes the theater. The doors are open. Inside, someone is playing piano. The music is soft. Sad, almost. A melody that rises and falls like waves, like breath, like something that's trying to find its way home. Naruto stops. He doesn't mean to. Doesn't want to. He should keep walking. Should go back to the foster home, close the door to his closet room, and disappear until tomorrow. But the music holds him. He walks toward it without deciding to. Through the open doors, down the aisle, past rows of empty seats. The stage is dark. The fallen light has been removed, leaving only a dark space in the rigging where it used to be. And on the stage, at a grand piano he didn't know was there, Tori Vega is playing. She doesn't see him at first. Her eyes are closed. Her fingers move across the keys with an ease that speaks of hours of practice, years of familiarity. She's not performing. Not showing off. She's just playing. For herself. For the empty theater. For the ghost of a song that sounds like it's still being written. Naruto stands in the shadows of the back row and listens. The song changes. Shifts from sad to something else. Something that sounds like hope fighting its way through uncertainty. The melody stumbles, pauses, finds its footing again. It's not perfect. It's better than perfect. It's real. When the last note fades, Tori opens her eyes. She looks out at the empty theater. For a moment, she doesn't see him. And in that moment, Naruto sees something on her face that she'd been hiding all morning. Fear. Not of the dark. Not of being alone. The deeper kind. The kind that comes from knowing you're not where you're supposed to be, not doing what you're supposed to do, not being who you're supposed to be. The kind he knows intimately. Then she sees him. And the fear vanishes behind a smile that's almost convincing. Hey! I didn't see you there. Naruto doesn't respond to the smile. Doesn't pretend he didn't see what he saw. You play, he says. Really play. Tori's hands rest on the keys. It's the only thing that makes sense sometimes. When everything else is. She trails off. You know. Yeah. He does know. For him, it's training. The feel of chakra flowing through his coils. The focus of a kata. The simplicity of movement when everything else is complicated. I know. They sit in silence for a moment. The theater is huge and empty around them, but it doesn't feel cold. It feels like a space that's waiting. For what, Naruto doesn't know. Can I ask you something? Tori says. Naruto tenses. But she's already asked so much less than she could have. Already given so much more than he expected. Okay. Last night. When the light fell. She looks at him. You didn't scream. You didn't freeze. You just moved. Like you knew exactly what to do. Like you've done it before. He has. So many times. More times than he can count. But he can't say that. I reacted, he says. It's not a lie. It's just not all of the truth. Tori nods slowly. That's what I thought. She turns back to the piano. Her fingers find the keys again, but she doesn't play. Just rests them there, like the music is something she's holding back. I've been acting for a few years now. Not professionally, not really. But I've learned to read people. To see what they're trying to hide. It's kind of what we do here, figure out what's real and what's a performance. Naruto's jaw tightens. I'm not trying to perform for you, he says. I'm not trying to be anything. I know. Tori's voice is gentle. That's the thing. You're not performing. You're just existing. And that's so rare here that it's almost impossible to look away from. Naruto doesn't know what to say to that. Doesn't know what she sees when she looks at him. Doesn't know why she keeps saying things that make him want to stay when everything else in this world tells him to run. I should go, he says. But he doesn't move. Tori doesn't push. Just nods. Okay. But if you want to come back sometime, the theater is usually empty after school. Most people go to the practice rooms. I'm usually here. If you want to listen. Or not. Either way. He should say no. Should walk away. Should disappear back into the shadows where he belongs. But the music is still in the air. And Tori's hands are still on the keys. And for the first time in 3 weeks, Naruto doesn't feel like he's drowning. Maybe, he says. Maybe I will. He leaves before she can respond. Before he can say something he'll regret. Before he can admit that maybe, just maybe, he's starting to hope that this world isn't as empty as he thought. That night, Naruto lies awake in his closet room and thinks about the day. Tori Vega, who sees through his walls without breaking them down. Jade West, who moves like a soldier and looks at him like he's a puzzle she's going to solve. The falling light with the cut cable. The music in the empty theater. He doesn't know what any of it means. Doesn't know if it means anything at all. In Konoha, everything had meaning. Every action, every word, every silence. Here, he can't tell what's real and what's performance. Can't tell friend from enemy from stranger. But Tori's words echo in his head. You're just existing. And it's almost impossible to look away from. He doesn't want to be looked at. Doesn't want to be seen. He wants to be invisible until he figures out how to go home. But maybe being invisible isn't the same as being alone. Maybe the girl who brought him coffee this morning is offering something he didn't know he needed. He closes his eyes and reaches for his chakra. It's there. Weak but growing. A flicker of light in the darkness of this strange world. He holds onto it. And for the first time since he arrived, he lets himself think about something other than going home. He thinks about tomorrow. About the theater after school. About music that sounds like hope fighting its way through uncertainty. He thinks about staying. Just for a moment. Just to see what happens. And then he sleeps. The first week after the spotlight incident is a masterclass in pretending. Naruto learns to slow his walk. In Konoha, he moved with purpose, a mission objective, a training ground, a ramen shop before it closed. Here, people drift. They meander through hallways with no apparent destination, pause to talk about nothing, take the long way to classes they're already late for. He forces his pace to match theirs. Shortens his stride. Lets his arms swing loose instead of staying ready. He learns to stop tracking exits. Every room he enters, his eyes still find the doors, the windows, the potential escape routes. But he's learning to look away after. To pretend he was just glancing around. To let his gaze be aimless like everyone else's. He learns to let people touch him. This is the hardest part. In Konoha, a hand on his shoulder meant an enemy too close. A brush in the hallway was a potential attack. A crowd was a threat to be navigated, not a community to be part of. But here, people touch each other constantly. A pat on the back for a joke. A hand on the arm during conversation. A hug for hello, for goodbye, for no reason at all. Every touch makes his muscles lock, his instincts scream, his hands twitch toward weapons he doesn't carry anymore. He's learning to let it happen. To breathe through it. To tell himself this is normal, this is what people do here, you're not in danger. It's exhausting. But he's getting better. Or at least, he's getting better at pretending. By Wednesday, the whispers have started to fade. The novelty of the new kid who moved like lightning wears off in a school where everyone is trying to be extraordinary. There are always new performances to watch, new rumors to chase, new dramas to follow. Naruto becomes old news, and for that, he's grateful. But not everyone has forgotten. Jade West watches him. He notices it in the hallway. In the cafeteria. In the few classes they share. She doesn't stare openly, she's too smart for that, but her eyes find him. Track him. Measure him. And every time he catches her looking, she doesn't look away. Just holds his gaze with those dark eyes that seem to see more than they should. She's waiting for him to slip. He knows it the way he knows an enemy's intent before they strike. She's looking for the crack in the mask, the moment when the act fails and the truth shows through. He doesn't know what she wants. Doesn't know what she thinks she sees. But he knows she's dangerous in a way that has nothing to do with physical threat. Keep your distance, he tells himself. Don't engage. Don't give her anything to work with. But avoiding Jade West is like avoiding a current. She's everywhere. In his peripheral vision. At the edge of conversations. In the seat across the cafeteria, eating nothing, watching everything. And then there's Tori. Tori, who doesn't watch. Who doesn't analyze. Who just exists beside him, in a way that no one has existed beside him since he arrived in this world. She doesn't push. Doesn't pry. But she's there. Every morning, coffee waiting by the front gate. Every afternoon, the theater doors open, piano music drifting out into the empty hallways. Every time he looks up, she's nearby, not demanding his attention but not hiding from it either. It's unnerving. Not because she's doing anything wrong, she's not. She's doing everything right. Giving him space. Letting him set the pace. Never asking the questions that hang in the air between them. That's what makes it hard. Because he wants to answer them. Wants to tell her about Konoha and chakra and the mission that went wrong. Wants to explain why he flinches when people touch him, why he scans every room for exits, why he can't just relax like everyone else seems to do. But he can't. So instead, he drinks the coffee she brings. Sits in the theater after school and listens to her play. Says nothing, gives nothing, takes everything she offers without knowing how to offer anything back. And she accepts it. Without resentment. Without expectation. Without anything but patience that he doesn't deserve. Thursday afternoon, the theater is empty when he arrives. Not just empty, quiet. The piano sits on the stage, lid closed, keys still. No music drifts through the open doors. No Tori, waiting with a smile that doesn't quite reach her eyes. Naruto stands in the doorway for a long moment, unsure what to do. He's been coming here every day after school for a week. It's become a ritual. An anchor in the chaos of pretending to be someone he's not. Now the anchor is gone. He walks down the aisle anyway. Sits in the back row, where he always sits, and stares at the empty stage. The quiet is different when there's no music. Heavier. Like the air itself is waiting for something. 10 minutes pass. 15. He's about to leave when he hears voices from the hallway. Not Tori's. Something sharper. More confrontational. Don't know what your deal is, but you need to back off. And I don't know what your deal is, but you're not his keeper. Naruto's body shifts. His hearing sharpens. The voices are coming closer. You've been following him around like a lost puppy all week. It's pathetic. I've been talking to him. Which is more than you've been doing. All you do is stare at him like he's something to dissect. Maybe because he is. You saw what happened last week. Normal people don't move like that. And normal people don't spend all their time trying to figure out why. Maybe he's just fast. Maybe he just reacted. Not everything has to be a conspiracy. A pause. Then the first voice, colder now. You don't know anything about him. And you do? Another pause. Longer this time. I know he's not telling the truth about who he is. And I know you're going to get hurt if you keep pretending he's just some transfer student with a tragic backstory. Naruto is on his feet without deciding to move. He's at the theater door before the voices register that someone else is there. Tori and Jade stand in the hallway, facing each other like opponents in a sparring match. Tori's arms are crossed, her jaw set. Jade's posture is loose, almost lazy, but her eyes are sharp as blades. They both turn when Naruto appears. For a moment, no one speaks. The silence stretches, tightens, threatens to snap. I was looking for you, Naruto says to Tori. His voice is steady, but something in his chest is pounding. The theater was empty. Tori's expression shifts. The defensiveness fades, replaced by something softer. Yeah, I got held up. Sorry. I should have. You don't have to apologize. He looks at Jade. Doesn't look away. What are you doing here? Jade's lips curve into that almost smile he's starting to recognize. Just having a conversation. Nothing to worry about. I'm not worried. Good. She tilts her head, studying him. Because you really don't have anything to worry about. Not from me. She says it like it's a promise. Or a warning. Naruto can't tell which. Jade. Tori's voice is quiet, but there's steel underneath. Just go. For a moment, Naruto thinks Jade will push back. Her eyes flick between them, calculating, weighing something he can't see. But then she shrugs, a lazy, dismissive movement, and turns away. Fine. But Tori? She glances back. Be careful. Not everyone is who they pretend to be. She walks away. Her footsteps echo down the hallway, measured and deliberate, until they fade into silence. Naruto stands in the theater doorway, his heart still pounding, his hands still curled at his sides. He's aware of Tori beside him, of her presence, of the way she's watching him with something that might be concern. You okay? She asks. Yeah. The word comes out rougher than he intended. I'm fine. You don't have to be fine. Tori's voice is gentle. You don't have to pretend with me. Something in Naruto's chest cracks. Just a little. Just enough to let air through. I know. He doesn't move. Doesn't look at her. I don't know how to be anything else right now. Tori doesn't say anything. Just reaches out and touches his arm. It's a light touch. Brief. Barely there. But Naruto feels it like a brand. Not because it hurts. Because it doesn't. Because it's gentle and warm and exactly what he needs, and he doesn't know what to do with that. I'm going to play, Tori says. You can stay. Or you can go. Either way, I'll be here. She walks into the theater, up the aisle, onto the stage. The piano lid opens. Her fingers find the keys. And then there's music. It's different from what she usually plays. Slower. More deliberate. Each note hangs in the air before the next one comes, like she's giving each one space to breathe. It's not sad exactly. But it's not happy either. It's something in between. Something that knows both. Naruto sinks into his usual seat in the back row. Lets the music wash over him. Lets the tension in his shoulders ease, fraction by fraction. He doesn't know how long he sits there. Long enough for the afternoon light to shift from gold to amber to the deep blue of early evening. Long enough for the music to change, to evolve, to find its way through chords he's never heard before. When the last note fades, the theater is dark. The only light comes from the emergency exit signs and the pale glow of the street beyond the windows. Tori closes the piano lid. She doesn't get up right away. Just sits there in the darkness, hands folded in her lap, shoulders curved like she's carrying something heavy. Naruto doesn't move. Doesn't speak. He's learned that sometimes silence is the only thing to offer. I used to play for my sister, Tori says finally. Her voice is soft, almost lost in the empty theater. When she was having a bad day, when things were too much, I'd just play, and she'd sit in the corner of her room and listen, and after a while, she'd start breathing easier. She pauses. In the darkness, Naruto can hear her swallow. She's older than me. My parents always said she was the talented one. The one who was going to make it. And I believed them. For a long time, I believed them. Naruto waits. Doesn't push. Just lets the words come. Then I got into Hollywood arts. And she didn't. And suddenly I was the talented one, and she was. I don't know. Something else. Something less. Tori's laugh is hollow. It wasn't supposed to be like that. I was supposed to be the one watching her succeed. Not the other way around. She turns on the piano bench. Even in the darkness, Naruto can see her face. The shape of her features, the gleam of her eyes. The weight she's carrying. She doesn't talk to me anymore. Not really. We'll be in the same room and she'll act like I'm not there. And I know it's not my fault. I know she's dealing with her own stuff. But sometimes I wonder if I should have just not auditioned. Not tried. Not taken the thing she wanted. Naruto's chest tightens. Because he knows that feeling. The weight of being chosen when someone else wasn't. The guilt of succeeding where someone you care about failed. He thinks of Sasuke. Of the years of rivalry that ran deeper than competition. Of the moment when he finally understood that his friend's darkness wasn't about him, but that didn't make it hurt less. It's not your fault, he says. The words come out rougher than he intended. Whatever she's going through. It's not your fault. Tori looks at him. In the darkness, her eyes are bright. How do you know? Because I've been on both sides. He doesn't plan to say it. The words just come. I've been the one who was left behind. And I've been the one who left. And neither time was it the other person's fault. It was just life. People going through things they don't know how to handle. Taking it out on the people closest to them because they don't know where else to put it. He stops. He's said too much. But Tori doesn't pounce on the opening, doesn't ask the questions he can see in her eyes. She just nods. That must have been hard. Yeah, he thinks. It was. It is. It never stops being hard. It got better, he says instead. Because that's the part he needs to believe. The part he's trying to hold on to. It got better. Tori smiles. It's a small smile, fragile, but real. You're good at this. At what? Making people feel less alone. Naruto doesn't know how to respond to that. Doesn't know what to do with the warmth that spreads through his chest at her words. So he says nothing. Just sits in the darkness of the theater, beside the girl who plays music like she's trying to find her way home, and lets the silence settle between them. It's not heavy anymore. It's something else. Something that feels almost like peace. Friday morning, there's no coffee waiting at the front gate. Naruto stands by the entrance, scanning the crowd without meaning to. Looking for dark hair, brown eyes, the particular way Tori holds her coffee cup with both hands when she's tired. She's not there. He tells himself it doesn't matter. She's probably running late. Overslept. Got caught up with something else. It's not a big deal. It's not anything. He walks to first period alone. Sits in the back. Doesn't raise his hand. Watches the door. She doesn't come. By second period, he's starting to worry. By third, he's scanning the hallways between classes, looking for her in the crowds of students who move through Hollywood arts like they belong here. By lunch, he's standing outside the cafeteria, unsure where to go, what to do, how to be without the anchor he didn't know he'd been holding onto. You look lost. He turns. Jade is leaning against the wall beside him, arms crossed, watching him with that unreadable expression. I'm not lost. Sure. She pushes off the wall, falls into step beside him as he starts walking. Tori's not here today. She texted me this morning. Family stuff. Naruto stops. She texted you? Something flickers across Jade's face. Surprise, maybe? Or something like it. Yeah. We're not enemies. We just don't always agree on things. She looks at him sidelong. She said to tell you not to worry. She'll be back Monday. She didn't have to. She knows. Jade's voice is softer than he's heard it. Just for a moment. She knows you don't ask for things. So she tries to give them before you have to. Naruto doesn't know what to say to that. Doesn't know what to do with the information that Tori thinks about him when he's not there. That she anticipates his needs before he can voice them. Jade studies him for a long moment. Then she sighs, a sound of someone making a decision she's not sure about. Come on. You're not eating in the library again. I don't. I saw you yesterday. And the day before. And the day before that. She starts walking toward the cafeteria. You're going to eat something. And then you're going to tell me how you moved that fast last week. I already told everyone. You told everyone a lie. Jade doesn't look back. I'm not everyone. Naruto stands frozen for a moment, watching her walk away. Everything in him says to leave. To disappear. To not engage with someone who sees too much and asks too many questions. But he's tired. Tired of hiding. Tired of being alone. Tired of pretending he doesn't need anyone when every day in this world reminds him how much he does. He follows her. The cafeteria is loud. It's always loud. Voices bouncing off tile floors, trays clattering, the constant hum of conversations he can't follow, and jokes he doesn't understand. Naruto usually eats in the library, where the silence is at least predictable. Jade leads him to a table in the corner. Not the center, not the edges, a strategic position with sight lines to all the exits. Naruto notices without meaning to. Sit, she says, dropping into a chair. I'll get food. Before he can protest, she's gone, weaving through the crowd with the same measured grace he noticed the first day. She moves through the packed cafeteria like water through stones, adjusting, flowing, never touching anyone she doesn't mean to. She comes back with 2 trays. Sets one in front of him. It's not much, a sandwich, some fruit, a carton of milk, but it's more than he would have gotten for himself. I don't need. It's food. Eat it. Jade sits across from him, picking at her own tray with the enthusiasm of someone who eats out of necessity rather than pleasure. You don't eat enough. I've noticed. Naruto picks up the sandwich. Doesn't take a bite. You notice a lot. I notice things that don't make sense. She meets his eyes. Like a kid who moves faster than anyone I've ever seen. Who sits in the back of every class like he's waiting for something to happen. Who looks at a crowded room like it's a battlefield. Naruto's grip tightens on the sandwich. That's not. You don't have to tell me the truth. Jade's voice is quiet, almost gentle. But you should know that someone's going to figure it out eventually. Whatever it is. And when they do, you're going to need someone who already knows. He stares at her. At this girl who moves like a soldier and talks like a strategist, and looks at him like she's seeing something he's trying to hide. What do you want? He asks. It's the question he should have asked on the first day. The question he should have asked Tori, but couldn't, because he already knew the answer wouldn't be something he could accept. Jade considers the question. For a long moment, she doesn't answer. Just picks at her food, pushes it around her tray, avoids his eyes. I want to know, she says finally, if I'm the only one. Naruto frowns. The only one what? The only one who doesn't belong here. She looks up. And for the first time, Naruto sees something behind the sharp eyes and sharper words. Something that looks like loneliness. Familiar. Almost like his own. I was at Hollywood Arts before Tori, Jade says. Before most of them. I was here when it was just a school for rich kids with dreams their parents could afford. And I was the weird one. The scary one. The one who wore black and talked about death and made everyone uncomfortable. She laughs. It's not a happy sound. I leaned into it. Made it my thing. If they were going to be scared of me, I was going to give them something to be scared of. It was easier than trying to be something I'm not. Naruto listens. Doesn't interrupt. Doesn't look away. And then you showed up. Jade continues. And everyone was looking at you the way they used to look at me. Like you were something they couldn't categorize. Something that didn't fit. She pauses. But you're not like me. You're not trying to be scary. You're trying to be invisible. And that's... She stops. Shakes her head. That's not going to work. Not here. Not in a place where everyone's trying to be seen. Naruto sets down the sandwich. His appetite is gone. What do you want me to say? I don't want you to say anything. Jade leans back in her chair. I just want you to know that when someone figures out what you're hiding, and someone will, I'm not going to pretend I didn't see it coming. And I'm not going to pretend I'm surprised. She stands up. Doesn't touch her tray, doesn't finish her food. Just looks at him with those dark eyes that see too much. You're not the only one who's learned to survive, Naruto. Some of us just had different battlefields. She walks away. Leaves him sitting at the corner table with a cold sandwich and a carton of milk and more questions than he had when he walked in. He doesn't eat. Doesn't move. Just sits there, staring at the table, trying to figure out what just happened. She knows, his instincts whisper. She doesn't know what, but she knows something. And she's waiting. Watching. For what? He doesn't have an answer. Doesn't have anything but the cold certainty that Jade West is more dangerous than he thought. Not because she's a threat. Because she understands. And understanding is the first step to exposure. He should stay away from her. Should keep his distance. Should go back to being invisible, to hiding in libraries and empty classrooms, to not letting anyone close enough to see. But as he looks at the tray of food she brought him, food she didn't have to get, didn't have to offer, he realizes it's too late for that. He's already been seen. The weekend passes in a blur of nothing. Naruto stays in his closet room, mostly. Sleeps. Eats when Carol remembers to feed him. Practices chakra control in the small hours of the morning, when the apartment is quiet and no one will notice if something goes wrong. His reserves are growing. Slowly, painfully, but growing. The chakra in this world is different, heavier, less responsive, but he's learning to work with it. To adapt. To find the places where it flows easier and the places where it fights him. On Sunday night, he manages to form a Rasengan. It's small. Unstable. It flickers in his palm like a candle in the wind, threatening to collapse at any moment. But it's there. A piece of who he is, manifesting in a world that shouldn't exist. He holds it for 3 seconds before it dissolves. 3 seconds of light in the darkness of his closet room. 3 seconds of proof that he's still a shinobi, even here. Even now. When it fades, he sits in the darkness with his hands shaking and his heart pounding. I'm still here. I'm still me. I haven't lost that. He closes his eyes and reaches for the memories of Konoha. The faces of people he left behind. The village that was finally home. The Hokage's face carved into the mountain, watching over everything. I'm coming back, he promises. I don't know how, but I'm coming back. But even as he thinks it, another thought creeps in. Small. Unwanted. What if you can't? He pushes it away. Focuses on the chakra in his coils, the warmth of it, the familiarity. He doesn't let himself think about Monday. About the theater after school. About coffee waiting by the front gate and music that sounds like hope. He doesn't let himself think about any of it. But when he sleeps, he dreams of a piano. And fingers moving across keys. And a girl who plays music like she's trying to find her way home. He dreams he's listening. And he doesn't want to leave. Monday morning, the coffee is waiting. Naruto sees it before he sees her, 2 cups on the low wall by the front gate, steam rising into the cool morning air. And then he sees Tori, leaning against the wall beside them, a book open in her lap, her hair pulled back from her face. She looks up when he approaches. Smiles. It's tired, she looks tired, the shadows under her eyes darker than last week, but it's real. Hey. Hey. Naruto picks up the coffee. It's warm. Perfect. You didn't have to. I know. Tori closes her book, tucks it into her bag. I wanted to. They stand there for a moment. The morning is quiet. The early students are starting to arrive, trickling through the gates in 2s and 3s, but no one pays them any attention. Just 2 kids with coffee, standing by a wall. How was your weekend? Tori asks. Naruto shrugs. Fine. Quiet. That sounds nice. She doesn't ask for details. Doesn't push. Just sips her coffee and watches the students flow past. Naruto wants to ask about her weekend. About the family stuff that kept her away. About the shadows under her eyes and the tiredness in her smile. But he doesn't know how. Doesn't know the words for asking someone if they're okay when you're not sure you're okay yourself. So he says nothing. Drinks his coffee. Stands beside her in the morning light. And somehow, that's enough. They walk to class together. Not talking. Just walking. side by side through hallways that are starting to feel familiar, past faces that are starting to be recognizable. Naruto doesn't scan for exits as much. Doesn't track every movement in his peripheral vision. He's not relaxed, he doesn't think he knows how to be relaxed anymore, but he's something close to it. Something that might be trust. Tori stops outside her first period. I'll see you later? After school? Yeah. Naruto nods. The theater. She smiles. Really smiles. And for a moment, she doesn't look tired at all. The theater. She disappears into the classroom. Naruto stands in the hallway for a moment, holding his empty coffee cup, watching the door close behind her. Look at you. Making friends. He turns. Jade is walking past, a script in one hand, her expression unreadable. We're not. He stops. Doesn't know how to finish the sentence. Jade pauses beside him. Her eyes flick to the door Tori just walked through, then back to him. She's good for you, she says. There's no mockery in her voice. No edge. Just observation. Better than I would be. She keeps walking before he can respond. Leaves him standing in the hallway with an empty cup and a head full of questions and a heart that's beating faster than it should. He throws the cup away. Goes to class. Sits in the back. Doesn't raise his hand. But when the teacher talks about emotional authenticity, about finding truth in performance, about the difference between pretending to feel something and actually feeling it, Naruto listens. And for the first time, he wonders if he's been doing it wrong. If hiding isn't the same as protecting. If being invisible isn't the same as being safe. If maybe, just maybe, the hardest world to live in isn't the one with battles and blood and constant danger. Maybe it's this one. The one where you're supposed to be normal. The one where people see you anyway. The second week is harder than the first. Not because anything bad happens. Nothing falls from the ceiling. No one threatens him. No one even looks at him the way Jade does, like she's waiting for him to slip. It's harder because of the nothing. In Konoha, Naruto had purpose. He woke up knowing what he was fighting for, who he was protecting, where he was going. Every day had meaning because he was working towards something: the Hokage's seat, the village's respect, the promise he made to himself when he was a lonely kid with no one and nothing. Here there's no war. No mission. No enemy to defeat. There are classes he doesn't care about, grades that don't matter, a future that doesn't exist because he's not supposed to have one in this world. He wakes up every morning and thinks, what am I doing today? And every morning, the answer is the same: surviving. Waiting. Pretending. It's not enough. He didn't realize how much he needed purpose until he didn't have it anymore. The days blur together. Hours disappear. He goes through the motions of being a student, being a teenager, being normal, and underneath it all, there's a hollow space where his drive used to be. He tries to fill it with training. Pushes his chakra harder, longer, further than he should. But the chakra in this world resists him, fights him, slips through his fingers like water. Every technique he tries is harder than it should be. Every jutsu he attempts falls apart before it's half formed. It's like trying to run through mud. He's putting in the effort, but nothing's moving. By Thursday, he's exhausted. Not physically, his body could keep going for days, but something deeper. Something that feels like his soul is running out of fuel. He's sitting in the courtyard by the dry fountain when Cat Valentine finds him. Cat is a lot. Naruto's learned that much in the weeks he's been at Hollywood Arts. She talks fast, moves faster, and seems to exist in a world that runs on different rules than everyone else's. She's always smiling, always laughing, always saying things that don't quite make sense. Most people find her exhausting. Naruto finds her confusing. But today, she sits down beside him on the bench and doesn't say anything. Just sits. Crosses her legs. Looks at the fountain. They stay like that for a long time. Minutes. Maybe more. The silence between them is different than the silence with Tori. Less comfortable, maybe. But less demanding too. You look sad, Kat says finally. Naruto glances at her. I'm not sad. Okay. She nods, like that makes perfect sense. What are you then? He opens his mouth to say fine. It's what he always says. The automatic response. The mask. But something stops him. Maybe it's the way Kat asked. Not pushing, not expecting, just curious. Like she's genuinely interested in the answer, whatever it is. I don't know, he says. Tired, maybe? Kat considers this. Are you sleeping? Yeah. That's good. Sleeping is important. She pulls her knees up to her chest, wraps her arms around them. I don't sleep sometimes. When my brain gets too loud. My brother says I should take medicine, but medicine makes everything fuzzy, and I don't like fuzzy. I like sharp. Do you like sharp? Naruto blinks. I don't know. Sharp is good. Sharp means you can see things clearly. She looks at him, and for a moment, her eyes are startlingly clear. You're very sharp. That's why you're tired. He doesn't know what to say to that. Doesn't know how she sees something he's been trying to hide for weeks. The others don't notice. Kat continues. Tori notices some things, but not the sharp parts. Jade notices the sharp parts but not the soft parts. But I notice both. She tilts her head. That's why you're tired. Because you're always sharp, and you're always soft, and you're trying to be both at the same time, and that's very hard. Naruto stares at her. At this girl who everyone dismisses as weird, as strange, as not quite there. Who just described exactly what it feels like to be him in this world. How do you? He stops. Doesn't know how to finish. Kat shrugs. I see things. People think I don't because I talk weird, but I see things. She unwraps her arms, reaches into her bag. Pulls out a candy bar. Offers it to him. You should eat something. Sugar helps with the tired. He takes the candy bar. It's cheap chocolate, the kind that comes in a bright wrapper and tastes more like sugar than cocoa. But something about the gesture, the simplicity of it, the lack of expectation, makes his chest ache. Thanks, he says. Kat smiles. It's a big smile, almost too big for her face. You're welcome. You can sit with me anytime. I don't talk when people don't want me to. I'm good at quiet. She proves it. Sits beside him in the courtyard, watching the dry fountain, not saying a word. And somehow, that silence is easier than all the others. Because Kat doesn't want anything from him. Doesn't need him to be anything. She's just there. They sit until the bell rings. Then Kat stands up, brushes off her skirt, and says, I have singing now. Singing is good. You should try it sometime. It helps with the loud in your head. She walks away, leaving Naruto on the bench with a half-eaten candy bar and a feeling he can't name. She sees, he thinks. She sees everything, and she doesn't care. Or she cares, but not in a way that makes her want to change it. He doesn't know what to do with that. Doesn't know what to do with any of the people in this world who keep seeing through his walls. Tori with her patience, Jade with her sharp eyes, Kat with her strange clarity. They're not supposed to see him. He's supposed to be invisible until he figures out how to go home. But maybe that was never possible. Maybe you can't be invisible when you're the only person in a world full of light who knows what darkness actually looks like. Friday afternoon, the theater is cold. Not physically, the heating is working, the air is warm, but something about the space feels different. Empty in a way that has nothing to do with the number of people in it. Naruto sits in the back row, like always. Tori is on stage, at the piano, but she's not playing. She's just sitting there, staring at the keys, her hands motionless in her lap. Something is wrong. He knows it the way he knows when an enemy is about to strike. Not from evidence. From instinct. The air is too still. The silence is too heavy. Tori? His voice echoes in the empty theater. Too loud. Too sharp. She looks up. Her face is pale. The shadows under her eyes are darker than they were on Monday. She's been hiding this all week, he realizes. Putting on a performance for him, for everyone, while something was falling apart underneath. Hey! Her voice is hoarse. Like she hasn't used it in hours. I didn't hear you come in. I've been here. He stands. Walks down the aisle, toward the stage. What's going on? Nothing. She smiles. It's the worst performance he's ever seen. I'm fine. Just tired. Naruto stops at the edge of the stage. Doesn't climb up. Doesn't get closer. But doesn't retreat either. You're not fine. Tori's smile falters. Naruto. You don't have to tell me. He sits on the edge of the stage, legs dangling over the side. Not beside her. Not close enough to touch. But close enough to be there. But you don't have to pretend either. Not with me. For a long moment, she doesn't say anything. Doesn't move. Just sits at the piano, hands folded in her lap, staring at nothing. Then something breaks. It's small at first. A tremor in her shoulders. A hitch in her breathing. A tear that slips down her cheek before she can stop it. And then it's not small anymore. She cries like someone who's been holding it together for too long. The kind of crying that's not just about one thing but about everything. All the things she's been carrying, all the performances she's been giving, all the weight she's been pretending isn't there. Naruto doesn't move. Doesn't speak. Just sits on the edge of the stage and lets her cry. He knows this. Knows what it's like to hold everything together until you can't anymore. Knows the release that comes when the dam finally breaks. Knows that words don't help. That presence helps. That being there, just being there, is the only thing that matters. When the crying slows, when the sobs turn to shudders, turn to silence, Tori wipes her face with the back of her hand. Her makeup is ruined. Her eyes are red. She looks like she's been through a war. My sister, she says. Her voice cracks. She came home last weekend. She was supposed to be staying with friends, but she came home, and she was. She stops. Swallows. She was so angry. At me. At my parents. At everything. And she said things? Things she didn't mean. Or maybe she did mean them. I don't know anymore. Naruto waits. She said I stole her life? That I took everything she worked for? That I was only at Hollywood Arts because I was lucky, not because I was talented? That I was going to fail anyway, so I should just give up now before I embarrass myself? Her hands curl into fists on her knees. And the worst part is, I don't know if she's wrong. Maybe I am just lucky. Maybe I don't deserve to be here. Maybe everyone's going to figure out that I'm not as good as they think I am, and I'm going to end up with nothing, and she's going to be right about everything. Naruto's chest tightens. He knows that feeling. The voice that whispers you don't belong. That you're not good enough. That everything you have is borrowed and will be taken away. He lived with that voice for most of his life. Still lives with it, sometimes. On the bad days. The quiet days. The days when he's alone and the walls are thin and the silence is too loud. You're not wrong, he says. Not about this. Tori looks at him. Her eyes are red, her face is tear-streaked, and she looks like she's waiting for him to tell her it's all going to be okay. He doesn't. He can't. Because he's learned that people who say, it's going to be okay, are usually lying. They don't know. They can't know. And promising something you can't guarantee is worse than saying nothing at all. But he can tell her something else. I spent a lot of my life feeling like I didn't belong, he says. Like I was just there. Taking up space that someone else deserved more. People told me I wasn't good enough. That I'd never be anything. That I should just give up and accept what I was. He pauses. The memories are old, but they still hurt. The way the villagers looked at him. The way the other kids avoided him. The way even some of the teachers treated him like he was something to be managed, not nurtured. But I didn't give up. Not because I was strong. Because I was stubborn. Because I didn't know how to do anything else. And eventually, he looks at her. Eventually, I found people who saw something in me that I couldn't see in myself. Who believed in me until I learned to believe in myself. Tori's breath catches. Your family? The word hits him harder than he expected. Family. He thinks of Iruka-sensei, who never stopped believing in him even when everyone else had given up. Of Sakura, who became one of his closest friends after years of rivalry. Of Sasuke, complicated and painful and there, always there, even when they were enemies. Of the village. Of the people who finally looked at him and saw someone worth protecting. Someone worth believing in. Yeah, he says. My family. He doesn't correct her. Doesn't explain that his family isn't related by blood, that they're people he found, people who found him, people who chose him as much as he chose them. He doesn't explain because it doesn't matter. The truth is the same. You have that here, he continues. People who see you. Who believe in you. Who aren't going to let you fall just because someone else wants you to. Tori wipes her eyes again. You don't know that. Yeah, I do. He meets her eyes. I've seen it. The way Kat looks at you. The way Beck talks about you. The way Jade. He pauses. The way Jade respects you, even when she's being difficult. You're not here by accident, Tori. You're here because you belong here. And your sister. He chooses his words carefully. Your sister is hurting. And when people hurt, they hurt the people closest to them. That doesn't mean she's right. It means she's lost. Tori stares at him for a long moment. Then she laughs, a wet, surprised sound that turns into something almost like a sob. How do you do that? Do what? Say things that make sense. Things that make me feel like maybe I'm not crazy for hoping. She shakes her head. You've been here for less than a month, and you see things more clearly than people who've known me for years. Naruto shrugs. Sometimes it's easier to see things from the outside. Maybe. Tori looks at the piano. Her hands are still resting on the keys, but she hasn't played. Can I ask you something? He tenses. But he's been expecting this. Has been expecting it since the first day, since the spotlight fell, since she walked into the alley and found him hiding from the world. You can ask. Who were you? Before you came here? The question hangs in the air between them. Naruto could lie. Could deflect. Could give her the story he's been giving everyone else, transfer student, no family, just trying to make it through. But she's sitting on a stage with tear-streaked makeup and ruined mascara, and she just showed him something real. Something true. And something about that makes the lie feel like a betrayal. I was someone who fought, he says slowly. Someone who protected people. Someone who was trying to become something important. Tori listens. Doesn't interrupt. Doesn't ask for more than he's giving. Where I come from, he continues, there are people who can do things. Things that seem impossible here. We call it chakra. It's energy. Life energy. And we can shape it. Use it. Make it do things. He holds up his hand. Focuses. Feels the chakra stirring in his coils, sluggish but present. A small flicker of blue light appears above his palm. Barely visible. Barely there. But there. Tori's breath catches. What is that? Chakra. Just a little bit. The smallest amount I can manage. He lets it fade. When I first got here, I couldn't do even that. The energy here is different. It fights me. I'm still learning how to work with it. He lowers his hand. Looks at her. That's why I moved so fast when the light fell. That's why I don't react like other people. Because I was trained to fight. To survive. To protect. Tori is quiet for a long moment. When she speaks, her voice is soft. You said was. Past tense. Naruto's throat tightens. I don't know if I'm still that person. Here. Without my village. Without my people. Without. He stops. Without the thing I was fighting for. Does that make you less of who you are? He doesn't know how to answer that. Doesn't know if he's allowed to answer that. I think, Tori says slowly, that who you are isn't about what you can do. It's about what you choose to do. And you chose to save Isaiah. You chose to sit with me while I cried. You chose to tell me the truth when you didn't have to. She meets his eyes. That sounds like the same person to me. Naruto's chest aches. Not from the chakra. From something deeper. Something that feels like being seen. You're not going to tell anyone? He asks. It's not really a question. He knows the answer. Tori shakes her head. You told me because you trusted me. I'm not going to break that trust. She reaches out. Touches his hand. Just a brush of fingers, light and brief. But you should be careful. Jade's been watching you. And she's smart. Smarter than most people give her credit for. If you're not careful, she's going to figure things out before you're ready to tell her. Naruto nods slowly. I know. Do you want to tell her? Eventually? He thinks about it. About Jade's sharp eyes and sharper words. About the way she brought him food when he wasn't eating. About the loneliness she hides behind her armor, the loneliness that mirrors his own. Maybe, he says. When I'm ready. Tori smiles. It's tired, but it's real. That's fair. She turns back to the piano. Her fingers find the keys. And then there's music again. Different from before. Lighter. Hopeful. A melody that sounds like morning. Naruto sits on the edge of the stage and listens. And for the first time in weeks, the hollow space in his chest doesn't feel so hollow anymore. He walks home that night with his hands in his pockets and his thoughts churning. He told her. Not everything, but enough. Enough that she knows he's not from here. Not normal. Not what he pretends to be. And she didn't run. Didn't scream. Didn't look at him like he was something to be feared. She just listened. Believed. Accepted. He doesn't know what to do with that. Doesn't know what it means. Doesn't know if it's a gift or a weight or something in between. But as he walks through the dark streets of Los Angeles, past houses with lights in the windows and cars on the streets, and all the normal things of a normal world, he realizes something. He's not pretending anymore. Not with her. And maybe that's okay. Maybe that's more than okay. Maybe that's the first step towards something he didn't know he needed. He stops at the corner. Looks up at the sky. The stars are different here. The constellations are wrong. But the moon is the same. The same moon that hangs over Konoha. The same moon that's watched over him his whole life. I'm still here, he thinks. And maybe that's enough for now. He keeps walking. Toward a home that isn't home. Toward a life that isn't his. But toward something. Toward tomorrow. Toward a girl with brown eyes and a piano who sees him for who he really is. He doesn't know what comes next. Doesn't know how to get back to where he belongs. But for the first time in a month, he's not just surviving. He's living. And maybe that's the first step toward finding his way home. The dreams start 3 weeks after Naruto arrives. They're not nightmares, not the kind he's used to anyway. No ninetales clawing at the edges of his consciousness. No faces of the fallen swimming in darkness. No war-torn battlefields or screaming comrades or the weight of a village on his shoulders. These dreams are worse. Because in these dreams, he's already home. He walks the streets of Konoha. The market is busy, the way it always was in the afternoons, with vendors calling out prices and children running between stalls. The Hokage monument watches from above, stone faces carved into the mountain, eternal and unchanging. He can smell ramen from Ichiraku's. Can hear the distant sound of training grounds, the clack of wooden weapons, the shouts of young shinobi pushing themselves further. And then he tries to touch something. A stall. A wall. A person. His hand passes through. He calls out. No one hears. He screams. No one turns. He runs through the streets, faster and faster, trying to reach someone, anyone, and every time he gets close, they fade. Dissolve. Become smoke and shadow and nothing. He wakes up gasping. Hands clutching at sheets that aren't his. Heart pounding. Sweat cold on his skin. The closet room is dark. The walls are close. The air smells like cigarette smoke and air freshener, and the particular staleness of a space that was never meant to be a bedroom. He lies there for a long time, staring at the ceiling, waiting for his breathing to slow. Waiting for the images to fade. Waiting for the hollow ache in his chest to become something he can ignore. It doesn't. It never does. Monday morning. 3 weeks and 4 days since Naruto arrived in this world. He walks to school because Carol's car is still in the shop. The streets are busy with morning traffic, commuters heading to work, parents dropping off kids, the constant motion of a city that never stops moving. He's learned to navigate it now. Knows which corners to cross at, which blocks to avoid, which alleyways offer shortcuts through the chaos. He's still early when he arrives. The gates are open, the courtyard mostly empty. A few students cluster by the entrance, talking and laughing, their voices carrying across the quiet morning. Tori isn't at the gate. He tells himself it's fine. She's probably running late. Overslept. Got caught up with something. It doesn't mean anything. But his hands are in his pockets. His shoulders are tight. His eyes keep scanning the street, the gate, the courtyard, looking for dark hair and brown eyes and the particular way she holds her coffee cup when she's tired. She doesn't come. He waits 10 minutes. 15. The courtyard fills with students. The morning noise grows louder. And still, she doesn't come. He's about to head inside when he sees Jade leaning against the wall by the main doors. She's watching him. Has probably been watching him for a while, given the look on her face. She's not coming, Jade says when he approaches. Sick. Some kind of flu going around. Beck's got it too. Naruto's stomach drops. Is she okay? She's sick. That's what happens when people get sick. They stay home and drink soup and watch bad TV. Jade's voice is flat, but there's something underneath it. Something that might be concern buried deep. She'll be back in a few days. He nods. Tries to look like this is normal. Like he's not already calculating how long a few days is, how he's going to fill the hours without her, how he's going to sit in the empty theater and listen to silence instead of music. Jade watches him for a moment. Then she pushes off the wall and falls into step beside him. You look like someone died. I'm fine. You look like someone died and you're trying to pretend you're not sad about it. Naruto stops walking. Turns to face her. What do you want, Jade? She meets his eyes. Doesn't flinch. Doesn't look away. I want to know why you're here. Not at this school. Here. In this world. The words hit him like a punch to the chest. He recovers quickly enough that most people wouldn't notice the flicker of panic in his eyes. But Jade isn't most people. You're not from here. She continues. Her voice is low, meant only for him. I don't mean you're from a different city or a different country. I mean you're from somewhere that doesn't exist. Somewhere that no one's ever heard of. And you showed up here a month ago with no records, no family, no past, and you move like you've been trained to kill since you could walk. Naruto's hands curl into fists at his sides. You don't know what you're talking about. Don't I? Jade steps closer. Close enough that no one else can hear. close enough that he can see the flecks of gold in her dark eyes. I've been watching you. Every day since the spotlight fell. You don't react to things the way normal people do. You don't talk the way normal people talk. You don't exist the way normal people exist. And I want to know why. The hallway is filling with students. Voices, footsteps, the press of bodies moving between classes. Naruto is acutely aware of every person who passes. Every pair of eyes that might be watching. Every ear that might be listening. Not here, he says. Jade's eyebrow goes up. What? Not here. He looks around. Lowers his voice. If you want to talk, we talk somewhere else. Somewhere private. Something shifts in Jade's expression. Surprise, maybe? Or satisfaction. Like she didn't expect him to engage, and now that he has, she's not sure what to do with it. The roof, she says. After school. No one goes up there. She doesn't wait for an answer. Just turns and walks away, disappearing into the crowd of students heading to class. Naruto stands in the hallway for a long moment, his heart pounding, his mind racing. He told Tori the truth. He can tell Jade too. Maybe. If he's careful. If he doesn't say too much. If he can figure out what she wants before he gives her anything she can use. But as he walks to first period, he can't shake the feeling that he's walking into something he doesn't understand. Something that's been building since the moment he arrived. Someone is watching him. Has been watching him since before the spotlight fell. And he's starting to think it's not just Jade. The day crawls. Naruto sits through classes without hearing a word. His mind is elsewhere, on the roof, on the conversation waiting for him, on all the things he can't say and the things he might have to say anyway. He doesn't eat lunch. Can't. The thought of food makes his stomach turn. By the time the final bell rings, he's made a decision. He's not going to lie to Jade. Not completely. He's going to tell her enough to satisfy her curiosity. Enough to make her stop watching. Enough to keep himself safe. He doesn't know if that's possible. But he's going to try. The roof of Hollywood Arts is a flat expanse of gravel and tar paper, ringed by a low wall that offers a view of the surrounding neighborhood. From up here, the city looks different. Smaller. Less chaotic. Like a map spread out beneath a clear sky. Jade is already there when he arrives. She's sitting on the low wall, legs dangling over the edge, looking out at the city. Her posture is different up here. Less guarded. Less sharp. For a moment, she almost looks like a normal teenager. She doesn't turn when he approaches. Just says, "You came. You said you wanted to talk." "I did." She pats the wall beside her. "Sit." He sits. Not too close. Close enough to talk without raising his voice. The city spreads out beneath them. Cars move through streets like blood through veins. Buildings rise and fall in uneven lines. Somewhere in the distance, a plane is taking off, climbing toward a sky that's already starting to turn orange with the approaching sunset. "I've been here for 3 years," Jade says, not looking at him. "Hollywood Arts. Before that, I was at a school in North Hollywood. Before that, a school in Sherman Oaks. Before that." She trails off. Shrugs. "You get the picture." Naruto waits. "My parents moved around a lot. My dad's job. Or maybe they just didn't want to stay in one place too long. I never really knew." She pulls her knees up to her chest. "I learned how to be the new kid. How to be the one who doesn't fit. How to make people scared of you so they don't try to get close." "That doesn't work," Naruto says quietly. Jade looks at him. "What?" "Making people scared. It doesn't work. Not if you want them to stay." She studies him for a long moment. "You would know." He doesn't deny it. Doesn't confirm it. Just meets her eyes and lets her see whatever she needs to see. "The first time I saw you," Jade continues, "I thought you were like me. Someone who learned to survive by being harder than everyone else. But you're not. You're something else. Something I don't understand." She turns back to the city. The sun is lower now, painting the buildings in shades of gold and amber. "My mom left when I was 12. Just left. Didn't say goodbye. Didn't leave a note. Just disappeared one day and never came back." Her voice is flat. Matter of fact. Like she's reciting something she's memorized. "My dad didn't talk about it. Still doesn't. He just kept moving us from place to place, like if we changed schools enough times, we'd forget she was gone." Naruto's chest tightens. He knows that feeling. The hole left behind when someone leaves. The silence that fills the space they used to occupy. The way the world keeps moving even when you don't want it to. "You didn't forget," he says. No. Jade's laugh is hollow. I didn't forget. I just got better at pretending. At being the person people expected me to be. The scary one. The weird one. The one who doesn't need anyone because anyone she needs is going to leave anyway. She looks at him. And in her eyes, Naruto sees something he recognizes. Something he's seen in the mirror on the bad days. The days when the loneliness is too heavy to carry. The days when the mask is the only thing holding him together. So when I see someone who's pretending the way I used to pretend, Jade says, I notice. And you, Naruto, you're pretending harder than anyone I've ever met. The words hang in the air between them. Naruto could deflect. Could change the subject. Could walk away and pretend this conversation never happened. But something about the roof. Something about the sunset. Something about the girl beside him who's showing him wounds she's never shown anyone else. I'm not from here, he says. Not from this city. Not from this country. Not from this world. Jade doesn't laugh. Doesn't look at him like he's crazy. Just watches him with those dark eyes that see too much. There's a place where I come from. A village called Konoha. It's... He pauses. How do you explain a world that doesn't exist? It's a village of shinobi. Warriors. People who can do things that seem impossible here. Move faster than the eye can see. Walk on water. Create fire from nothing. He holds up his hand. Focuses. The chakra responds, slow and sluggish, but it responds. A flicker of blue light appears above his palm. Barely visible in the fading daylight, but visible enough. Jade's breath catches. What is that? Chakra. Life energy. In my world everyone has it. Some people learn to use it. To shape it. To make it do things. He lets the light fade. Drops his hand. There was a mission. Something went wrong. A space-time distortion. I don't know how to explain it better than that. One moment I was in Konoha. The next I was here. In an alley behind a supermarket. With no chakra. No way home. No one who had ever heard of the place I came from. He looks at her. Expecting disbelief. Expecting the look he's seen on so many faces in this world. The look that says you're crazy, you're lying, you're something to be feared. But Jade doesn't look at him that way. That's why you moved so fast, she says slowly, when the light fell. Yes. That's why you're always scanning rooms. Why you always sit with your back to the wall. Why you react to sudden noises like you're expecting an attack. Yes. She's quiet for a long moment. Processing. Fitting the pieces together. The spotlight, she says finally. It wasn't an accident. It's not a question. But Naruto answers anyway. No. The cable was cut. Someone wanted it to fall. Jade's jaw tightens. Who? I don't know. I've been trying to figure it out. But I can't. He stops. I can't use my full power here. The chakra in this world is unstable. Every time I try to do something big, it fights me. And if I push too hard, I could draw attention. The wrong kind of attention.